In the next step, I'm also doing it now a little bit different than what the alias tutorial actually is saying. I'm going to move my curves, and with curve I'm actually only talking about my two lines and the arc. I do not touch my fillets. The reason why I don't touch or ever want to move my fillets is because the fillets are actually objects that are created on the fly between the curves. I created by hand. I did not draw this by hand. So when I change, for example, those lines or reposition them, so let's, for example, take this line and then go to move and maybe move it down a little bit, you will see that the fillet automatically updates. So you can change those parts, but if I select a fillet and then, for example, say move, alias is telling me that if I'm going to do this, I'm going to basically turn that interactive fillet into an actual curve that is created, and then it's not parametric anymore. So of course I don't want to do this. So that is why I'm only going to select those lines. With Shift I can select them all. Then I can go into the left view. And you see, for example, here in the side sketch that the base profile I just created is 0.25 millimeters away from the construction plane. So this means if I go to here, those lines I have to move from the z-axis 0.25 millimeters to the right. There are two ways now how I could do this precisely. I could go, for example, and change my grid, and instead of 2 I would like to have 4 subdivisions, because then I would have basically 0.25 millimeters inside each millimeter, and there you can see those subdivisions. Then I can go to move, and then with the middle mouse button and the snap tool, so I press middle mouse button so I can move, and then I press my Alt key to snap to a grid. And then this way, for example, you could position it. But that's one way, but I find like in such fine details that can get really complicated and yeah, confusing. So I'm going to undo this. I'm going to select my lines here again, then go into the side view, and I'm going to move those back, middle mouse button and then snap. So it's very important that you press like the middle or the right or left mouse button to move first, and then you press the correct key, for example Alt, for grid snapping. Otherwise you snap everything to one point and not move the object. And with everything I mean all the control points that will be put at one grid point. The second way how we could do this is actually, instead of global, you can type in local for the move, click go, and then with the move tool turned on, you can enter now the amount by numeric input, and you see the order is X, Y, and Z. I would like to move it along the x-axis, so I type in 0.25 comma space 0 comma space 0. So this is move along the x-axis 25 millimeters, 0.25 millimeters, along the y 0, and along the z 0. Let's press return, and there you see it was moved. So that's a second way how you could do it in case you do not want to just adjust your grid preset all the time.